Welcome to Whispers of the Night. Tonight, we invite you to rest beneath the whispering branches of an ancient willow tree. Let your shoulders soften, let your breath begin to slow. Here, under this shelter of green, the world becomes quiet. Leaves above sway like lullabies, stirred by a wind that knows the rhythm of sleep. This is a sacred place, a place where memory, nature, and dreaming blend together. Each sigh of the wind carries away your thoughts, and every branch above you cradles your worries until they are forgotten. You are safe here, you are held, and soon you'll begin to drift slowly, sweetly into sleep. So close your eyes now and let the willow welcome you. Let's begin by breathing together. Inhale gently through your nose and exhale softly through your mouth. Again, slowly in and slowly out. With each breath, feel your body settle deeper into comfort. The earth beneath you is cool and steady. The willow's branches curl like soft arms around you. You are not rushing. There is nowhere to go, and nothing you need to do now. Just listen to the slow rustle of leaves above you, like a lullaby hummed by the wind. The tree has stood here for centuries, its roots drinking stories from the earth, its branches gathering moonlight and rain. You are part of that rhythm now, held in the quiet between moments. If a thought drifts into your mind, imagine the willow's breeze carrying it gently away, like a leaf on the water. Every sound here soothes you. The distant ripple of the river, the hush of night animals settling, the heartbeat of the wind. Let your breath become slower, softer, as your body unwinds into stillness. The willow tree watches over you, and you, small and cherished beneath its boughs, are already half dreaming. Stay here, in this gentle place between waking and sleep. You are safe, you are loved, you are home beneath the willow. Beneath the willow tree, you begin to drift. roots that drink the rain. You rest beneath the willow's arching canopy as soft rain tickles the earth. Your thoughts follow the roots that wander down like quiet fingers. Sipping water and time, you learn how trees breathe through soil and how rain nourishes more than just the ground. As your body sinks into stillness, the world beneath you hums with life. The willow bends toward you, curtain-like branches trembling in the soft breath of rain. You lie beneath it, still as the earth, and listen to water meet soil in a sound so delicate it's almost a whisper. Each droplet disappears into the ground with purpose, and your thoughts begin to follow it, falling slowly, gently, downward, beneath the surface. Beyond where roots reach your fingertips lies a living world, not silent as it seems, but quietly bustling live, with tiny exchanges and timeless rhythms. The willow's roots spread like old, open hands, weaving through layers of soil, as if reading the earth's memory one grain at a time. Water moves. Here with intention, it doesn't rush, but seeps. Each drop joins with others in hidden threads called capillaries, small passages within the soil that carry moisture to waiting roots. The tree doesn't drink with greed. It draws in only what it needs through the fine tips of root hairs. You cannot see thousands of tiny mouths that sip rain like warm tea. You imagine these roots as sleepy explorers, journeying ever downward through layers of stone and clay, toward deeper reserves of nourishment. In a way, they are like your thoughts, tonight slow-moving, gentle, patient, unfolding deeper into the dark and quiet world beneath you. This exchange between rain and root is older than cities, older than stories. It is the silent agreement trees have with the sky. You fall, and I will rise. Your breath falls in. Time with this rhythm now inhale, like roots pulling in water. Exhale, like leaves whispering thanks. You become part of the cycle, just by resting here, just by listening. The soil beneath a willow is not empty, but vibrant. Fungi thread themselves between roots, forming soft, shimmering bridges of communication. And care, these networks called mycorrhizae allow trees to share nutrients, warnings, and even comfort. It's a quiet language of sugars and signals, far below the place where words are needed. You picture it now, the willow's roots touching those of nearby plants, passing along whispers of rainfall, of sunlight, of change. Like an underground lullaby sung in root song. It is invisible, yet very real, just like the comfort you feel tonight. The willow itself has learned to live at the water's edge. Its roots are not afraid of wetness, but welcome it. Even when rivers rise or soil softens into mud, the tree holds on. It drinks deeply, then bends, never breaks. You begin to understand why rain and roots belong together. Rain brings not just water, but memory from clouds that formed over oceans, from rivers that once held snow, from air that passed through forests you've never seen. Each drop that reaches the willow carries with it a fragment of the world, and the willow remembers, not in the way people remember birthdays or names, but through growth, each year a little wider, each season a little deeper. Its rings tell stories, soft and slow, stories written in wood and watered by rain. You let your body soften into the earth, and it welcomes you. The scent of wet soil is sweet, earthy, full of life. Scientists call it geosmin, a chemical released by bacteria when the ground is touched by rain. But to you, it smells like home, like a garden after a storm, like the beginning of a dream. You can almost feel the soil exhale. With every rain, oxygen is pushed downward, and roots, like lungs, draw it in. Trees do not breathe like we do, but still they breathe through their roots and bark and the tiny openings on their leaves. They breathe in the quietest ways, in rhythm with the planet. As you lie here, you too begin to breathe more slowly. Inhale, exhale, just like the willow, just like the sky. There's something comforting in knowing that this connection between rain and roots is both simple and vast, that something so small as a droplet can travel so far, that a tree so still can be so alive. You close your eyes and imagine the water seeping deeper through sand, through stone, through aquifers that hum with time. Eventually, the rain that touches the willow may find its way to underground rivers, or even rejoin the sea. Nothing is ever lost, only changed, and everything, even rain, comes home again. Tonight, you feel like part of that cycle, rooted and drifting, listening and letting go. You don't need to move. The world is moving for you. And as your thoughts become softer, slower, like roots in sleep, you sense the tree's quiet strength surrounding you, its patience, its presence, its endless reaching downward, not to escape the world above, but to anchor more deeply within it. Beneath the willow, time folds gently. Seconds blur. Rain continues to fall, steadily, lovingly, a lullaby in droplets. You feel it now, how the tree holds the rain, and the rain holds the tree, how the earth accepts both without question, and how you, too, are held here without need, without effort, without end. In the stillness, you wonder if the willow dreams of the moonlight that brushes its leaves above, and how that same moon, rising tonight, once shared its light with another part of the tree's story. The Willow and the Moon. Moonlight weaves through drooping branches, and you drift with it. You learn why the willow weeps, and how its shape has inspired centuries of stories. From Chinese poets to Grecian songs, the moon and willow share a soft longing. Let your breath slow with every falling leaf, every flicker of silver sky. The night deepens, and the willow tree becomes a silhouette of softened shadows. Its long, delicate limbs dangle like ribbons soaked in silver. The leaves barely rustle, as if they too are listening, not to sound, but to light. Moonlight filters through the thin canopy, dappling your face, your chest, the ground around you. You feel it more than see it, cool and constant, like a silent lullaby painted in pale blue. Above you, the moon hangs quietly. It does not shine with its own fire, but gathers sunlight and offers it gently back, like a borrowed flame cupped in two hands. The willow understands this. It knows the art of receiving light and letting it fall. You watch as the moon's glow glides along each thin leaf, each sweeping branch. It softens every line, turns every curve into a question. In this light, the willow seems to weep, but gently, beautifully. The droop of its limbs isn't sorrow exactly, it is surrender. An elegant giving in to time, to gravity, to stillness. And yet, for centuries, people have looked at the willow's downward bend and seen longing, melancholy, a softness touched by sadness. You begin to wonder why. Perhaps it's the way the tree leans into its own shadow, how it creates a curtain around itself like a private stage. Or perhaps it is the way its branches never reach upward, only out and down, as if embracing the ground instead of the sky. The ancient Chinese poets saw this too. To them, the willow became a symbol of partying, its falling leaves like words left unsaid. During the Tang Dynasty, friends exchanged willow branches when saying goodbye. The act was gentle, tender, a gesture that carried silence instead of speech. And always, the moon was watching. You picture a traveler, long ago, leaving a city gate at night. A friend presses a sprig of willow into their palm. Above, the moon rides, a quiet sky. The moment feels the same now, beneath your willow. A kind of partying with the waking world, a stepping into stillness. In Greek stories, the willow belonged to the goddesses of water and memory, to Persephone, queen of the underworld, and to Hecate, keeper of crossroads and moonlight spells. Willow groves grew near temples and tombs, places where silence bloomed, and the moon lingered longest. You sense the echo of those stories here, a thread between myth and matter. The tree's shape, so grounded yet flowing, like a river made of wood. The moon's patience, its endless circling, casting soft light on all that slips away. There's something sacred in their meeting. Moon and willow, both are watchers, quiet and old. Both know the shape of time. The tree marks it in rings, the moon in phases. The willow lives in cycles of shedding and growth. The moon, too, fades and returns. Tonight, they speak in gestures. The moon offers its silver breath. The willow bends to receive it. You begin to feel part of this quiet communion. Your breath syncs with the night's rhythm, slow, steady, unspoken. You close your eyes, and still you see it. The moonlight falling through the willow's veil, like dreams sliding through memory. Science tells us that the moon's light is nothing more than reflection. But here, beneath the willow, it feels more like memory itself. Something once warmed by day, now returned in softer form. And the willow, with its drooping arms and quiet sway, becomes more than a tree. It becomes a vessel for all the things light can't quite say. In its curves and shadows, you find a mirror for the quiet within yourself. Even in botany, there's poetry. The genus name for willow is Salix, and one species, Salix babylonica, bears the name of Babylon, where ancient laments were said to be sung beneath its branches. Yet this species is not from Babylon at all, but from China, a misunderstanding passed along and preserved like a myth. Even in classification, the willow bends the truth into something more lyrical. You smile softly at this, how trees can carry both fact and fable in their roots. Above you, the moon shifts slightly in the sky, its light changing the shadows. Around the tree's base, a breeze stirs. Some leaves release their hold and drift downward, twisting as they fall. One lands beside you, silent as a sigh in Japan. The willow appears in ghost stories, not as something frightening, but as something in between. A tree that knows how to hold the presence of what's past. Its sway, its sound, its presence. They seem to reach across thresholds, between night and day, between memory and dream. You feel that threshold now, not haunting, but welcoming. A space where you can loosen your hold on today, where the moon can carry your thoughts without rush, where the willow can catch them before they fall too far. Everything here leans gently, the tree, the light, your thoughts. No hard lines, no sharp turns, only soft curves and slow descents. And as you lie beneath the willow's canopy, silver flecked and swaying, you wonder if the tree weeps, could it also dream? And what would it dream of, if not the very light that touches it now? From the sky above. Willow bark and the ancient art of healing. You sit with your back against the bark, cool and textured like old parchment. Here, you uncover how willow gave rise to healing from teas to aspirin. You listen to how ancient herbalists brewed pain away, one simmering cup at a time, and your body, too, begins to feel soothed, eased by old, natural rhythms. The bark beneath your spine is rough, yet strangely comforting, like the texture of a well-loved book whose pages carry the scent of time. The tree doesn't resist your weight. It seems to cradle it, offering support in the quiet way that only trees can. The air is cool and rich with the scent of wet earth, distant leaves, and something else, something faintly bitter, like brewed roots or fresh-cut herbs. You breathe it in, and something in your chest unclenches. This is where healing begins, not in a rush of action, but in stillness, in rest, in returning to what is simple and ancient and near. The willow tree, your silent companion, has been a healer far longer than any hospital. Long before tablets were stamped and capsules sealed, before white coats and glass bottles, people turned to the bark. In its pale, papery layers, they found something extraordinary, a quiet relief, a whisper of ease for bodies in pain. You reach out and touch the bark, tracing its furrows. Somewhere inside that rough skin lies a compound called salicin. You don't need to pronounce it aloud, just knowing it's there, hidden like a secret in the wood, brings a kind of reverence. When rain falls and roots drink, the tree gathers nutrients, weaving them into its living architecture. In the bark, salicin forms as a kind of guardian. For the tree, it's a defense against pests and disease. For humans, it became something more, a doorway into medicine. Thousands of years ago, healers didn't call it by its chemical name. They didn't isolate molecules or measure dosages by the milligram. They knew only what they had learned from watching and waiting, that chewing willow bark or steeping it in water could ease fever, dull headaches, quiet the body's cries. You imagine a hand reaching for a twig, stripping its skin, and dropping it into a bowl of steaming water. The scent rises, bitter, earthy, alive. A mother tending a child, a traveler warming sore feet, a quiet elder preparing one last remedy. As night falls, there is no rush here, no sterile room, only the closeness of earth, leaf, and fire. In ancient Sumer, scribes etched the uses of willow into clay tablets. In Egypt, the bark was wrapped with rituals and used in poultices. In China, herbal texts whispered its properties in soft brush strokes. And in Hippocrates' Greece, patients were advised to chew the bark of the white willow, not as superstition, but as gentle science. You sipped this lineage like tea. Every culture, every healer who once leaned on the willow's wisdom now stands silently beside you, woven into this moment beneath its canopy. The science we now know about salicin and inflammation, about how the liver transforms plant chemistry into comfort, arrived slowly. It wasn't until the 19th century that salicin was extracted, studied, and synthesized into something we know today as aspirin. The name itself echoes the willow, a 4-acetyl, spear for Syria, another plant rich in the same healing essence, and yet, even wrapped in progress and pharmaceutical packaging, that first kindness still belongs to the tree. You lean more deeply into its trunk, and your body hums in response. Pain doesn't vanish, but it loosens. The stiffness in your shoulders softens. The tension in your thoughts slips downstream. The willow doesn't demand healing, it invites it. There's something profoundly intimate in the way trees share themselves, not with haste or ceremony, but with consistency, with quiet generosity. Year after year, the bark thickens, the leaves return, and the tree waits, always offering, always there. Not all willow trees contain the same healing power. The white willow, Salix alba, is the most potent. Its name whispers across continents, across centuries. And though your tree may not be the same species, it carries the memory. The knowledge lives in the genus, in the soil, in the breath of every wind-brushed leaf. Close your eyes now. Imagine the willow as a slow-moving stream of comfort. Not flashy, not instant, but deep and sure. Its medicine works not just through chemistry, but through presence, through the steadiness of being near something alive and rooted. Modern science calls this effect biophilia, the way our bodies respond to nature, even without knowing it. Heart rates slow, muscles relax, cortisol, the stress hormone, begins to fall. You don't have to do anything, just being here against the bark is enough. The Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, speaks to this truth. No swimming, no hiking, just standing among trees, letting the forest do what it does best, hold you in its quiet, wordless way. You let the willow do just that. Let it hold you. Your mind wanders gently now to apothecaries with wooden shelves, to medicine. gardens blooming beside monasteries, two midwives carrying satchels of dried leaves. You picture glass bottles with handwritten labels, teas steeping beside candlelight, warm cloths placed on aching joints. None of it rushed, none of it loud. Even the act of healing was once an act of patience. Somewhere beneath your palm, the tree pulses, not with a heartbeat, but with the slow current of sap. In spring, the sap rises from root to leaf, like breath returning. The tree awakens, and the bark thins with moisture, becoming easier to peel, easier to share. In harvesting willow, one must never take too much. Only a strip, a sliver, always. From a healthy tree, always with thanks. Because the healing is not yours alone. It belongs to the balance. You think about that now, how even healing can be an exchange between tree and human, between earth and body, between one quiet being and another. You let that thought rest in your chest, light and steady. The world doesn't rush, the tree doesn't rush, and neither do you. As your body settles deeper into the root's embrace, you feel the old wisdom surround you, not in words, but in sensation. The crispness of bark, the coolness of shaded air, the distant memory of bitter tea, the knowledge that healing isn't just about fixing, but about listening, slowing, returning. And as you listen, you wonder, what other secrets live in the leaves above you, trembling in the wind? What other stories do the branches carry, not in bark or root, but in breath and rustle and sound? Whispering leaves and the language of wind. The branches sway above, murmuring in a tongue older than words. You hear how trees talk through rustling leaves, forest scent, and vibrations underfoot. It's a secret symphony of survival and softness, like lullabies on the breeze, and you begin to drift, your dreams stirred by voices carried on the wind. You sit beneath the willow once more, where the world moves slowly and the sky has forgotten time above you. Branches dance with the hush of a breeze, and leaves whisper stories in tongues you were born to forget, but never truly lost. There, rustle is not noise, but language, not speech, but something older. The wind does not pass through trees by chance, it speaks with them. And tonight, so do you. You close your eyes. Some leaves quiver like bells, too light to ring. Others sway in low murmurs, as if humming to the soil far below. There's rhythm here, you realize, not random, but purposeful. The air carries messages the way breath carries a sigh, and trees, in their stillness, are never truly silent. For centuries, people believed trees were solitary, rooted, passive, but the wind has always known otherwise. Scientists now listen to what forests have murmured all along, that trees talk, and they do it in many voices. Some of these voices ride the air, just like this willow's leaves above you. When the wind brushes through, it changes pressure, temperature, and scent. trees respond, adjusting how much water they breathe through their stomata, tiny pores on the surface of every leaf. These pores open and close like the eye of a dreamer. In drought, they narrow. In moisture, they widen. And somehow, one tree's change ripples through the canopy, guiding its neighbors to do the same. But that's just one dialect in this arboreal chorus. There are deeper ones too, voices that sink below the soil and bloom in the dark. Beneath your resting body, a vast web of fungal threads stretches outward, thin as breath and strong as memory. Mycorrhizal fungi, they're called, ancient, quiet companions of tree roots. Together, they form what scientists call the wood wide web. Through this web, trees send signals, pulses of carbon, stress chemicals, nutrients. A pine tree injured by insects will warn its neighbors, sending a biochemical alert. In turn, nearby trees begin producing compounds to defend themselves, as if stealing their wooden skin before the storm. It's not a scream, not a cry, but a presence, a knowing, like how the moon pulls the tide without a sound. The more you listen, the more you understand that wind is only one part of the conversation. And it's not just happening above you, but around you, a full, invisible dialogue. The willow nearby seems to lean in, its branches swaying more eagerly now, as if it knows you're finally hearing. You touch its bark, smooth, then rough, then smooth again, and beneath your fingers, you imagine the quiet hum of cellular activity, the xylem and phloem, the tree's circulatory system, moving water and sugars, upward and down, day and night. Another language, another rhythm, but wind remains the gentlest tongue. Sometimes, a tree under attack releases volatile organic compounds into the air, whispering distress. Nearby trees smell this, even without noses. Their leaves detect the molecules, the way your skin feels, temperature, and they prepare. Leaves may even change their taste to ward off grazing animals, shifting the very flavor of the forest. You begin to realize that these whisperings have always been around you, in every breeze that turned your head, every rustle that felt like it called your name. The language of trees is subtle but constant. It's not made for urgency. It's made for continuity, survival, community, and perhaps lullabies in indigenous traditions across continents. The idea that trees are alive and wise isn't novel, it's ancestral truth. In Japan, forest bathing, Shinrin-yoku, is more than a walk, it's communion. In Celtic lore, certain trees held personalities and relationships. The ash, strong and bound to rebirth. The elder, wise but tricksy. The willow, always the dreamer. Science may only now be catching up with what stories have always whispered. Trees remember. Trees respond. Trees, perhaps, care. Above you, the wind sighs again. The willow seems to nod. A silver leaf detaches and drifts downward, spinning slowly through the quiet air. You watch it spiral and settle near your side, like a punctuation mark in a poem too soft to read aloud. If you were to stay here through nightfall, you'd hear how the forest changes its tone. Evening brings cooler air, which shifts the wind's path and speed. Insects emerge. Their wings stir the canopy in a different cadence. The trees, in turn, adjust their water release, their breathing slowing. It's a nighttime conversation now, hushed, reverent. And still, the rustle continues. You lie back fully now, your head cushioned by grass, and gaze up at branches like fingers tracing the stars. You wonder if trees dream. You wonder what a breeze feels like from within the wood grain, not just against bark, but through it. Maybe trees don't dream in images, but in weather, in seasons, in the slow shift of sun. Another gust moves through, this one deeper, more confident. The willow bows low, then sways tall again. And for a moment, you imagine it's telling you something just for you. Something that isn't words, but which you understand perfectly. It feels like a blessing. It feels like a memory. It feels like wind carving lullabies through leaves, and roots replying in kind. And as your breath slows and your body softens against the earth, a final question curls in the back of your mind, weightless and warm. If trees speak with the wind, then what do they hear when it rains? Rivers, morning, and the willow's memory. Willows love the edge of things, riverbanks, seasons, silences. You float through stories of morning willows, sacred groves, and songs of goodbye. Yet you also learn how this tree survives, bending, never breaking, growing again. Let the river carry you now, like a fallen leaf, resting in slow-moving water. The water is slow here. It hums a soft tune around the curve of the land. You sit beneath a willow tree whose long green arms weep into the river. The leaves flicker silver in the light, whispering in a wind that barely moves. Time softens in this place. You breathe in, and the earth feels old. You breathe out, and something tender unfurls. The willow seems to lean toward you, not as if to fall, but to listen. Its roots reach into the silt-like fingers, holding a memory. It is a tree that remembers water, even when it rains only a little. Even when the river runs low, the willow knows how to wait. Its leaves are shaped like sighs, long and thin, and falling with grace. You could watch them drift down all night, one by one, like forgotten thoughts, returning. Willows have always grown in the places where stories gather at the edges, between forest and flood, between silence and song. In ancient China, mourners would carry willow branches in funeral processions, a symbol of remembrance and resilience. The tree did not represent despair, but gentleness, the strength to bow but never break. In Japan, two willows lean over temple ponds and garden walls, their soft form a quiet echo of Imperman CE. In myth, they are trees of tears and poetry. Orpheus carried a willow lyre, and the Druids held ceremonies beneath their shade. Even now, in quiet corners of the world, people tuck notes into the creases of willow bark, wishes, apologies, names. The tree listens. It does not speak, but it does not forget. You trace the bark with your fingertips. It feels cool, a little rough, as if it wears the weather-like skin. This tree has likely been cut before, and yet here it stands, taller than you, fuller than many others nearby. The secret lies in its growth. Unlike so many trees that grow rigid with age, the willow remains flexible. Inside its branches are fibers like cords that twist and stretch. When storms come, and they always do, the willow bends. So far, it seems it might snap, but it doesn't. It yields, then returns. Not weaker, but wiser in the wind. There's a word for this kind of survival. Not the kind that resists, but the kind that dances. Scientists call it mechanodaptation, the ability of a tree to grow. In response to physical stress, the willow does not fight the wind. It listens to it. It changes. It grows with each gust, shaping its branches to flow with the air like water flows through roots. And when a willow branch falls, the tree does not grieve it as a loss. Often, that very branch can take root in the soil if left untouched. Whole, new tree from a single broken piece. Regeneration is part of its nature. Death and life, side by side, like ripples in the same stream. There are forests of willows grown this way, families of trees cloned from the same mother, connected by lineage and living memory. Some scientists believe that certain groves share chemical signals underground, communicating through their roots, sharing alerts and water like whispered wisdom. You lean your head back and close your eyes. The tree above rustles softly. You imagine those signals, slow pulses in the dark earth, like the low beat of a heart. The willow is never truly alone. Even in stillness, it speaks through soil, through silence, through time. Willow bark itself holds a story, a quiet medicine wrapped in pale skin. Long before modern pills, people steeped it in water for fevers and pain. Inside, it carries salicin, a natural compound that eases inflammation. This tree that weeps also heals. It is both mourner and mender, and here, beside the river, its roots hold the earth together. Willows are called riparian stabilizers. They hug the riverbank. Their branches shade the water, cooling it for fish and frogs. Even in sleep, the tree is part of a larger piece. A leaf falls into the river beside you. It floats for a moment, then turns and drifts downstream. You watch it go, slow as a lullaby. You think about the way willows let go, leaf by leaf, not with drama, but with grace. Nothing forced, nothing grasped too tightly, just release, just trust. Perhaps mourning is not the opposite of living, but part of it. The willow seems to say, bend, not break. Let your sorrows move through you, not trap you. Root yourself deeply enough, and you can weep without falling. You wonder how many goodbyes have been whispered beneath this tree, how many stories it's gathered in the curve of its trunk. You feel yourself becoming part of them, another sleeper passing through its memory. The river shifts, slow and sure, reshaping its path just a little, and the willow leans with it again, always at the edge, always adapting. Never quite the same tree twice, but still itself, always. Night deepens. The sound of the water soothes your breath. The tree's arms sway gently above, like a lullaby being hummed in a language you once knew, a language without words, just movement, just presence. You rest your hand on the earth, damp and cool. You feel the pulse of it, the way something ancient still moves below, not hurried, not loud, just there, alive. Somewhere upstream, the willow's roots cradle another bend of the river, and somewhere beyond that, in the hush between seasons, another kind of tree listens to a different kind of wind, and that wind perhaps carries not mourning, but music. The Temple of Sleep beneath the willow. Night deepens around you, the tree's long limbs curled into a dome of peace. Stars blink between branches. Frogs sing softly below. You lie still, wrapped in warmth, as the tree remembers every season and dream, and slowly, gently, you drift into sleep, into silence, into the willow's timeless care. The river no longer murmurs, it whispers. Darkness folds over the earth like soft cloth, stitched with threads of wind. You lie beneath the willow, where the world narrows to breath and leaf, hush and heartbeat. Its branches have curled inward, not from fear, but as a cradle, a green cathedral closing its canopy around you. You are inside the temple now, a temple, not of stone, but of living wood and memory above you. The sky is no longer blue, it is velvet black, pricked with slow-burning stars. Some blink behind the curtain of willow leaves, others seem to hover in the silence. There is no hurry among them, they do not shine to be seen. They shine because they cannot help it. You watch them, your gaze drifting in and out of focus. Their light has traveled unimaginable distances, thousands, even millions of years, just to find your eyes tonight. You blink slowly, and the thought becomes a feather, dissolving before it can weigh too much. The willow sighs with the wind. You feel it more than hear it, a rustle like pages being turned in a book long closed. The leaves move in a rhythm older than language, a lullaby too ancient to name. Beneath you, the ground is cool and forgiving. The roots are not hard lines, but curves, gentle arcs that carry the memory of water. This tree remembers rain. It remembers drought, too. It remembers storms that pulled at its limbs and winters that carved frost into its skin. But it held on, not by hardening, but by yielding. The willow does not conquer the night. It welcomes it, makes a home inside it. And here, beneath this shelter, so do you. You let your arms grow heavy, your breath slow and even. In the stillness, your senses begin to stretch in different directions, not outward, but inward. Your thoughts slow there, tumbling one by one. They settle like leaves on still water. You do not chase them, you let them float. You are no longer the thinker, but the tree, not the river, but the bank that holds it. You are stillness, wrapped in breath. A frog sings from somewhere close, not a croak, but a single musical syllable, echoed by another farther away. The sound is soft, damp with evening. You picture them among the reeds, their voices part of a quiet chorus that has always belonged to twilight. Nearby, an owl shifts in its perch. You do not see it, but you feel the slight current of its presence. The pause in the air, the hush of feathers poised to fly. The night is alive, but not loud. It moves with intention, like a tide you can't see, only feel rising in your chest, then falling again. You begin to understand the shape of the willow's dream, not as a story with beginning and end, but a slow unfolding of light through leaves, of rain into root, of sorrow into seed. It dreams in layers of the first time it bloomed and the last time it shed its golden leaves. It dreams of deer passing below, brushing their backs against its bark, of children once tangled in its hanging limbs, laughing, vanishing into time. You too are a part of its dreaming now. Your warmth seeps into the soil. Your breathing echoes the wind in its branches. You are becoming something quieter, something softer, as sleep moves closer, and sleep, too, has its science. Your body begins its slow descent, the rhythms of wakefulness loosening their hold. The pineal gland, small and deep within your brain, releases melatonin, the night's gentle key. Heartbeats slow, muscles uncoil. Thoughts shift from logic to image, from structure to flow. You are drifting through stages, deeper and deeper, from light sleep, where you still hover close to waking, to the dream-thick weight of delta waves. Your brain, like the willow, begins to prune and strengthen, memory folding inward. Experiences sorted and tucked into roots for safekeeping. This is not forgetting. This is rest as restoration, like the willow sending sap to broken branches, like the river clearing its own silt. Your dreams, too, are a kind of cleaning, a strange language your brain speaks when words fall away. They may not make sense, but they make space. They let you grow again by morning. There is a chemistry to this sleep, and yet it feels holy, perhaps because it connects all living things. The bat in the rafters, the fox in the bramble, the owl with its wide eyes. Everything sleeps. Everything dreams in its own way. Even the willow, even the river. Some scientists believe plants sleep too, in rhythm with the light, in motion and stillness. Willows close their stomata at night, small pores in the leaves that breathe. Their limbs droop slightly, as if the whole tree exhales, and it waits for morning, not impatiently, but as if it knows the sun will return, as if light is a promise, not a prize. You shift slightly, and the grass murmurs beneath you. Your body is heavier now, not in burden, but in peace. Gravity no longer pulls. It cradles. Even your thoughts have stopped reaching. They lie down beside you, quiet and unafraid. The tree remembers this, to how to be still, not as escape, but as offering. The night does not demand anything of you. It does not rush or judge or measure. It only asks that you rest, that you let go, that you remember what the willow already knows in this temple of sleep. There is no clock, no gate, no lock, only layers of shadow and the hum of life folding into itself. You are inside. The world's breath now. One inhale, one long slow exhale, and everything else dissolves. The stars blink again. The frog sings again. A breeze moves through the leaves, slow as the turning of a page. The willow rocks gently in its root cradle, and your mind rocks with it. A boat unmoored, a thought adrift. You are weightless, restful, safe, and as your breath slows to the rhythm of dream, you begin to wonder if the wind could dream too. well beneath the willow's quiet watch. Let the night carry you gently into dreams that shimmer like leaves in moonlight.